Hügelkultur, which is another way to fill your beds. In this method, you basically put wood down at the bottom of your bed, and you're going to let the wood decompose, and that's going to create a really rich soil full of organic matter. Now there's two ways of doing it. One is to throw in pieces of wood like this. Any logs that you've got, you can throw them in. These are going to take years to decompose, but you can do it. I've done it at home. You can also throw in wood chips. Wood chips are a really great method because they decompose faster. And then you're going to want to fill it up as much as you can, and then put a layer of soil on top of that. Now when you fill it with wood chips and with logs, as these decompose, they're going to take up and suck up a lot of nitrogen. So your garden bed is not going to grow very well in the first 3 to 4 years. When you fill it up, you should probably I add compost from my garden as well. I also add some nitrogen fertilizer to help with the decomposition process. But I have found that these garden beds perform really poorly in the first 3 years. And then once the decomposition has started, they're amazing. They're really, really productive beds, but you do have to be patient. It will cut down on your costs if you have lots of logs or wood chips sitting around. Sometimes you can get wood chips delivered for free by the tree companies. They'll dump a bunch of wood chips. So I filled 3 beds at home with wood chips, and so that was all free. Now you do have to be aware that once it decomposes, it's going to sink. So you're still going to have to top it off with some of that expensive garden soil that you'll deliver with a truck. These 2 Hügelkultur beds were initially very unproductive. I had filled them with wood chips and some soil at the top, but I'd say for the first 3 years everything was just stunted. It didn't really grow because the wood chips were decomposing and probably sucking the nitrogen out of the soil. But now these are some of my most productive beds. They just look amazing. Look at these peas. These are peas that have gone all the way up there. And the corn looks amazing. So I think clearly the Hügelkultur works great if you have the patience to wait a couple of years. If you start with wood chips, it'll go faster. Now I did want to note that I hand water these beds, and so they're not getting a whole lot of water, but it does seem to me that they are more resilient to water. Presumably, I assume that the soil is really, really rich in organic matter and holding the water better. But that's just sort of my intuition. I can't prove that yet, but these beds look stunning. This is a Hügelkultur bed I started in 2020. It's now 2026, so I had to move it, unfortunately. So I had to take out all the soil, but I had originally filled it up with logs. So I'm just showing you what the logs look like 6 years later. So you can see they've definitely decomposed, but they're still fairly intact, so still decomposing 6 years down the line. Whereas these beds over here I filled with wood chips, and those were totally decomposed 3 or 4 years down the line. So those became productive about 3 or 4 years later. So just to give you the difference between wood chips and logs. Now use whatever you have. If you have logs, use logs. But if you get your hands on wood chips, it'll decompose faster.